what inspired me. This young life's right here. And we get phone calls. I have phone calls in Winnipeg. One of Jessica's friends, just before Christmas, 16 years old, committed suicide because he did not know, is there anything left in life? He did not know. I had a meeting with a young fellow, just about 18 years old. He called me in Winnipeg for a lunch, very shy. And he says, Walter, is there anything left? And I says, yes, there's lots left to live. And he says, Walter, I looked at video, made. You know what it's made, what it means?
Yeah.
Assisted suicide.
Yeah.
He says it's so nice. You go in a hospital, you lay down in a bed, and you watch a nice video, and you fall asleep, and you will not get hurt.
Yeah.
It broke my heart when I heard that. But that is what we as Camp Hope going to stand here, and we will stand and fight for this. So we will stand and fight for our young generation here. That's what we're going to do. And we can only do it with your help.
Yeah.
That is when we can do this.
Yeah.
So let's hear from the first Jessica Hiebert here.
Hi everyone, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jessica Hiebert and I'm 18 years old. These past years have been the hardest years of my life because of how society has been so cruel to not only me, but to all of youth. Society has such high standards on how everybody should be. For example, women are expected to wear makeup, look their best all the time, and can't wear short skirts, shirts, or dresses. Otherwise, we'll be called awful things and have awful things happen to us. Men are expected to be the tough ones and to never get emotional, and they are never the victim in any sexual assault cases. Society has got such high standards, and everybody's expected to follow the perfect picture.
Yeah.
This way people can never find their true self and be who they're born to be or who they truly are. I myself have grown up with these standards forced upon me from middle school all through high school. I was told I had to be this perfect person who doesn't truly exist because there is no perfect. But I found myself in the end with the help of my family and friends, and I'm not ashamed of who I am now and who I will become. But so many other kids will never get to have that because they're growing in that society and their parents aren't doing anything to help it. For the past 2 years, after COVID has come to be, kids were forced to learn as much as possible about how technology works in order to succeed in school. Schools not only moved to online schooling, but they also separated students by last names. For example, one day would be A to K going into school while L to Z staying home, and vice versa. This has led us to depend on our phones to not only communicate, but to also form an addiction of mindlessly scrolling through social media. Social media is so bad that all of us youth have basically been warped into little robots, believing and living by everything we see online, true or not. Social media has been one of the biggest ways for the government to mind manipulate all youth to do what they think they should do on social media or see what they think they should do on social media. Kids are mostly affected by schools. I myself have gone through lots of things in school, and one of the biggest things that affected my learning was verbal bullying. I was bullied verbally by so many students, and it not only affected my learning, but it also affected my personality and confidence in myself. I lost so much confidence that I had in myself, and I thought life wasn't worth living. If it hadn't been for my parents, Walter and Maria, and my friends, and all the support they have given me, I don't think I'd be standing here today. Schools have been one of the biggest reasons for suicide. Every year, an estimated 700,000 people take their lives, and for every one person who does, 20 have tried. and 1 in 5 Canadians struggle with mental illness every day. My friend, Ashton Fair, committed suicide last year, Wednesday, December 14th, at the age of 16. He was an amazing kid, and I'm standing here today hoping my speech will have an impact on not only youth, but all adults as well, so no one else has to go through what Ash and I did. Youth hasn't been able to do much ever since COVID came to me. And since everyone is stuck on their phones, they haven't been able to go out and follow their dreams. So many kids have been at home all the time because they don't have the motivation to go out. Dreams are what we follow. It's what makes life worth living. Like, kids don't follow their dreams. Instead, they'd rather stay home and scroll through social media. Dreams give everyone motivation to be better than they were yesterday. My dad had a dream to build Camp Hope, and he followed his dream. And not only did he follow his dream, he made his dream a reality.
And we'll pass that dream on to all of us.
His dream not only inspired you guys, but it also inspired me to follow my dream. Camp Hope has helped so many people, and I think it can help kids and youth as well. Just 1 hour at Camp Hope, and it feels like home. It's a place where everyone, every culture, every race, every ethnicity, every belief can feel love that I don't think anyone has felt in such a long time. Camp Hope is a place where people can gather and get to know each other, or just have social communication. I don't know about you guys, but I think Camp Hope not only became a place for everyone to feel safe and happy, but it also became a place of freedom, choice, and family.
Yeah. Freedom.
I'm sure Camp Hope has become more than what my dad originally thought it would. Dad, you made our home safe and secure. And now you've given thousands of people a place where they can just be themselves and just forget, for just a moment, what lies ahead of us all. Dad, you've given everyone here a safe haven, and I thank you for everything you've done for not only me, but for all of Canada. And I'm so proud to be called your tiger. Thank you.
Thank you, Donald. It's amazing to call on my daughter, and that the young people there are seeing what is going on. And like I told you, this is not about me. I don't want to be famous. I could care about that less. I could rather stand on the side and watch how people are together. And that is why we are building that. I do that for my daughter, for my sons, for my kids, for these kids right here, for your kids, and for your family, and for all your friends. That is why we are doing this. We work tirelessly for the last 4 weeks, non-stop, Saturday, Sunday, straight at home. A lot of people did not believe what we went together, but that's why we are working so hard. And that's why we are to stand here. And like young generations like this. And I have Tamara Woods here. She is, you probably know her, Freedom Central Canada. Tamara Woods. Let's give her a big applause, Tamara. Welcome to be here. Before Terry goes on, I'll get Tamara to say a few words about this.
Guys, this is absolutely amazing. I am absolutely thrilled to be standing on this stage in a building that I never even imagined was going to be built. 5 weeks ago I was standing here and it was plain land. It was not here. This is a labor of love. So whoever helped out with this building, whoever donated, came here, supported, whatever you did, thank you from the from the bottom of my heart. I had a little bit of a moment last night. I was standing in the kitchen and everyone was kind of calmed down, everyone was done. And I'm standing in the kitchen and I'm looking back going, never in my wildest dream did I ever think I'd be living in a community like this, but this is where I want to be. This is my heart and this is where I want to be. Just having that moment, seeing everybody standing at the fires. I'm a little bit of a bastard child. I come from a family that really wasn't there for me. The fact that I have a community that I can come to that loves me so much and opens their arms to me, it is absolutely amazing. And I am so honored to have met all of you people here today. Freedom Central Canada, not sure if you guys know us. Please get on there, Selena Paley, Cody Coons, Tamara Woods. We are doing what we can, just like Benita does. We are gonna do this, like Wham. We are the people, and we the people need to stand. And I see so many amazing faces in here today. Thank you for coming, thank you for being here. Whatever you do in your life, we need to, like Klaus Schwab says, infiltrate the cabinet. We need to be the change. You need to get into your schools, you need to get into your politics. Patrick Allard, I met that guy at the beginning of this pandemic, and that man gave me power in my stance. The moment I met Patrick Allard, he told me never wear that mask again, and I never wore that mask again. And I said no. And I want you all to continue to do that. Protect your children. Our children are so vulnerable right now. I don't have any children, so what I'm going to do in the movement after this meeting is I'm going to get myself into the school boards, and I'm going to be the voice for your children. We have to be the voice for our children. I love you all. I hope you all smile today because you're all beautiful. Remember, T loves all of you guys. Love you. Freedom.
Thank you, Tamara. And Tamara is a very good help at Camp Hope and a good support at Camp Hope. And I appreciate her very, very much. And that is why we have to do that. Till now, I see on the internet fighting each other.
Yeah.
Yes, that we are better. We are better. Nobody is better. We all, one day when we are leaving this place, we want to go to heaven. And we are all believing on that. So let's stop all the fight, put our difference to the side, and let's just stand united back together for our next generation. That's why we have to do that. Let's give a big round of applause to Terry Johnson.
So sick, it's almost incomprehensible. We talk about living in the land of the free, but fear is our ruling concept, not freedom. There's too much being done to society and all our nations at this point for me to keep denying the impact it's going to have on my generation and the future of our world. I'm not very bold, but if I don't say these things, there might not be another chance for someone else to. We all know our world has come to be a sick place full of pessimistic people, and we all wish we could do something about it, but have accepted that we have no power. We see these issues clear as day, yet instead of wanting to be the change, we expect it to change on its own, or we have already accepted we've been condemned to fail. You either let the others take action on it and take care of the issues we can all see, or you refuse to see that change is needed where it's due. This is detrimental to the young. You are adults. You should know better than the youth when something is acceptable or not, and if it's benefiting your lives. It's easier when you're older to figure out the things that do and do not work. You have a way better understanding on what our world is becoming and what we face 30 years from now. Kids don't even have a conscience to be worrying about that type of stuff. And I only do because I realize the rest of us are going to when it's too late. Humanity is becoming so selfish and disconnected. People are losing sight of what matters. Proper morals, proper self-identity, proper self-respect, integrity, and respect for others. We all have a full understanding that the world has become an unethical, fraudulent place. Us kids can't do anything to help us ourselves when you've got the power, the rights, and the voice to make an actual difference. Kids aren't taken seriously enough. and not enough of you are stepping up to say the words we need spoken for us. Our recent pandemic and the isolation we all experienced during those arduous times was an opportunity to gauge our success, not by how many rolls of toilet paper and pounds of macaroni we could accumulate, but by clearing our minds of the worn-out concepts that led to our crisis. You had time to rethink your approach to greed and selfishness, the environment, work, and material success, and to reposition your perspectives in a more holistic way. I kept hoping enough of us would have realized how important it was, being we had all the time in the world to work on ourselves, but still, we have so many people acting blind to it all. You know very well the situation we're in if we don't acknowledge it. If we keep accepting the world for what it is, saying, it sucks, and we have no control over it, it'll be as it is. Nothing changes. Things can't get better without change. If you're an adult, unhappy, bothered, or unsatisfied with the world and society's views, you need to be stepping up and showing us kids we can do something about it. This is an awful example, but think about seeing a missing kid poster. Now think about if every person in the world saw it differently, and in the correct light, there would be no more taken kids, no more intentional crime or selfish actions of any nature. People wouldn't have it in them because that's morally wrong, and we'd know that. But we can't change how people think. None of us can. It doesn't mean we have no control over who we are and what we allow to be accepted in ourselves and our lives. To you, that might just be a missing kid. It's unfathomable there's someone evil enough out there to take a child. You get a reminder of how awful people are and think it doesn't affect you past that, yet it really does, because humanity being bad is a reflection on all of us. If you have that part of your mind that knows not to do one thing because it's morally wrong, but still give yourself excuses in everyday life to do bad things that benefit you, it's a reflection on you too. You gave yourself an excuse, and that affects you in the long run because we all have to live in this world, whether it's filled with good or bad. It comes down to the fact that we can live good lives in a happy world, one in which we have everything we need to make possible, and if we didn't, a voice to fight for it. Or we can keep being lazy, looking past real issues, and keep living in a dreadful world, one that's only destined to get worse. You have to realize we're at a point in our existence where we cannot keep making excuses. I'm talking to you. I feel a lot of you are responsible too. How can you talk about bad things happening in the world and judge others' wrongdoings and hope for change, but then swear at your kids, cut someone off in traffic, be disrespectful, impatient, or short-lived people? These are things that you know you shouldn't do. Because that guy knew he shouldn't have kidnapped the kid, but he gave himself an excuse, same as you did. We're all adding to the melting pot. You're not better than anyone else, not better than people considered criminals. We're all playing the same game, making excuses and having reasons for all our wrongdoings. It shouldn't be like that. We lie to ourselves about being good people to make ourselves feel better for our wrongdoings. I'm not saying you're not good people, but I'm saying you don't resist doing things that make you bad sometimes. Us kids watch tons of our parents do it every day. A lot of our minds give us reasons as to why it's okay to do wrong things, and we'd rather take that than miss out on tiny things to keep our morals straight. You may not even see your actions as bad because it's human of us now, to ignore the part of our brain that knows what's right, which you are because you know the world is wrong, and I don't see enough of us, especially adults and role models, trying to make it right or draw attention to it. How can we kids do better for our world when we think you guys have no problem with it? We accept it as vile. It's what we were born into. You were born when people still knew true compassion and emotions. Nobody told you how you were supposed to feel because you had your own outlook. We have our phones. There's only so far we can see with a phone blocking our vision. We learn a lot from the influence on that device. The propaganda that's fed to us by the people behind those social media platforms, mass media, and stereotypes. We're broadcasted farces they want us to be like every day. How are we supposed to stay true to ourselves? We're taught by each other that it's totally normal to give our bodies away at 13 and sexualize ourselves. We're conditioned into thinking if we're not attractive or presenting ourselves as what society wants, we have no worth. We kids don't recognize any of it as wrong. Our minds are so corrupted we find toxic relationships more desirable than healthy ones. We romanticize the darkest things. We don't know the word selfless. We think we're depressed if we don't have a significant other at 14, and if we do, we'll change our entire persona to be what that person wants.
Yeah.
We're told in school it's okay to keep things from our parents and go against you if we don't agree, which we agree with. We spend more time on technology than with our families, more time at school than at home. We'd rather order food than cook our own meals or spend any time learning valuable skills, apart from what we feel forced to in schools, which I don't think is enough to set us up for our lives.
No.
We don't have the mental development you've already had. We're gullible and naive. I watched my friends go from playing with Lego and Uno to snorting lines off the same tables we played on. I've watched them lose the potential they once held by popping their brain cells without a care in the world because it makes them feel good, then go home and tell their parents we watched movies and ordered pizza.
Yeah.
I've watched them all lose respect for their parents because they're convinced you mean wrong and are stupid for knowing better. They think you want to control us, not look out for us. They don't know. The way we see is so morphed from what it should be. We're the most entitled generation I've seen. Lying is second nature. If we have a lie or backup story to fall onto in times we want to do wrong, we'll do wrong without a second thought. Anytime we have an issue or intense emotion or hard period in life, we label our coping mechanisms as mental illnesses and find the medication to stop ourselves from feeling, stop our personalities from further developing. We're proud of those labels. We identify with them. We've been forced to accept people as cats and dogs and that genders are not a thing anymore. We'll get personally offended if people say anything we don't like or agree with. And the most important things, the things that bring us young happiness, and the things we use for relief when we are not, are things adults could never imagine, never mind find acceptable. If you knew the perspectives kids really saw from, and could see through their curated lies that tell you otherwise, which we're better at than telling truth, you'd be terrified too. None of those things are even true or important. We're being taught to disconnect from everything important and connect to things that will never fulfill us. But because we've never had any better type of fulfillment, we'll keep accepting what we're given as the best we will ever know or get. I say we because I'm an adolescent, but I do not identify with the way they think or live.
Hallelujah.
I've been living a very different life than the kids around me and been amongst kids who are still very stuck in their ways. I've seen firsthand what's happening to them from a clean mind. Without them knowing I felt any different because it's practically a crime to have your own opinions. If I did, I wouldn't have friends.
Yeah.
It's not all kids, but the majority I've met in the last couple of years have been pretty deep into some not great things. The one thing that's always consistent, no matter what perspective these kids have, is that none of them see any of it as wrong. The lying and disrespect, the constantly being disconnected and embedded in a phone, the lies fed to us we believe without any consideration for the truth. The voids they don't realize won't be filled with external things. None of them see. This is their lives. If we refuse to listen to you adults who can see it, how are we ever going to accept we've been conditioned and thought wrong?
Yeah.
You have to really try now. The more years go by, the deeper us kids get into bad things, the harder it's going to be to show us the truth and let go of the things they attach to their happiness. There's another big problem adding to it though. Young people want to learn. We learn a lot off of how you see as our parents. If we don't think you're doing anything, we won't either. Why would we even want to confront the truth and corruption if we feel we can't do anything about it if we could? It's easier to be in denial than live knowing the truth and not being able to do anything about it. You are our parents and role models. We want to be like you. We want to learn from you. You know the world was a better place 20 years ago. You knew perspectives were a whole lot clearer than they are now. You know a piece of bliss from your childhood that this generation will never get to know. A piece of history that shouldn't be history. Us kids born in the 2000s, we just know today. We don't know as well as you. You know the potential people would hold if we all wanted to be good. Remember your childhoods? What it felt like to walk around without the crazy standards, resentment, and fear that you might not have a world to grow up in 10 years from then? You didn't have that tenseness you can almost feel in the air we have in public today. That's the thing. We are young. The happiest world we've lived in is this one, in this time.
Yeah.
You adults know happiness in a way we'll never get to feel in our lifetimes if we keep letting our world, our sights, and humanity fall apart like this. And we most certainly can't create a good world for ourselves after you guys are gone, when we've never lived in an actual, genuine world.
Yeah.
We have nothing to look back on and say, we want our world to be like this. You do. So the impact you have on us when being negative about the situation we're in and not doing anything to change it due to some excuse you've given yourself or because we don't have control leaves ripples. You're the ones who know best. We see that type of behavior coming from you as parents and think, well, if mom says she has no control over it, how could I? If mom says she can't solve it, how can I? Mom knows better. If dad can make an excuse, why can't I? We're not stupid. We are naive and impressionable. The idea that we have no control over bad things sets us up to never want to try. That amount of damage on our brains and development doesn't come undone. Our young perspectives and views affect us and who we are for the rest of our lives. I wish I could fix all the issues with humanity myself, and I don't mean to sound like I expect adults to figure it out for us, but you're the ones who shaped our world for us as we continue to shape it for the next generations. Adults are the ones granting power where you know it's not deserved, to the people who you know don't have good intentions for all of us as people. We give power to the ones who misuse it, power to the ones who teach us to see these perceptions, and keep doing nothing about it, because let me guess, we have no control. But we've got everything to make this world flourish and be full of genuine happiness, lasting happiness. You're the only ones who can change it, but by not doing anything and accepting the world for what it is, you're failing yourself, because you're accepting you're going to live in a doleful world forever, giving my generation the excuse not to do anything either. I'm tired of being the only kid who sees it and sees what's wrong. If you're an adult and you can see any of the negative impacts on us, and you see the overall way humanity's going, which I know you do, because I, a 15-year-old, can see clearly. If you see and you dwell and make excuses as to why those problems can't be fixed and continue to live like those problems don't exist, at least don't teach my generation those issues are not there. Because the most dangerous thing for a messed up society is for them to be blind to the fact that they're messed up. And you know ours is, but a lot of us kids don't. This is our normal. Someone has to tell the rest of my generation it's not, because we're going to run ourselves into the ground if you all aren't shown the situation we're in, especially the kids. If we continue to let it be messed up and live miserable lives, we're leaving miserable lives to all the people who come after us. Every single one of us are going to be responsible for the ultimate collapse in humanity and coming collapses in our world, unless you realize your voice matters and there's a billion things you could be doing to change it. I could name a ton, but this speech is about the kids. Why would the whole world put effort into changing for the better if the kids, the future of our world, have such a flawed sight we're going to ruin all the progress you've made when we get older? And this bad in us progresses even more. One of the main things being that you need to talk to your kids. Teach them what's important and what's not, in every way you can. Show them that you love them because we've been taught to think you don't. Teach them about the deceptions that taught them that. Teach them what brings true happiness and what doesn't, what's ethical to do and not. Teach them to be good people, honest people. It matters now more than ever. I'm watching my generation already beginning to fail the one after us because of how fast they're losing sight of things. If we stay like this, and we keep accepting the truths we're given as kids, we won't even be able to think for ourselves. We'll rely on Google and everyone else for answers. We're so much less as young adults and people and lose the potential to be because we're consumed with things adults know are pointless, but yet are allowing other adults to put it into our heads through social media, social standards, trends, taught and shown. We're 100% capable of changing, but if the kids don't, we're going to be responsible for ruining the lives of everyone coming after us because we're creating a bad world for ourselves. I believe it's critical now. I had a conversation with someone my age the other day. I told them that I didn't agree with how they saw things. I didn't agree with doing bad things intentionally, and I'd seen a lot out of them. They told me that the world is effed anyways, and there's so many bad people already, so why would they even try to be good when no one else does? That proves my point. If we don't see change in others, we won't change ourselves, even if we know we are wrong. And how many more see it the same way as that? It shows me how dire our situation is. Kids are already losing the motivation for the right things. We have to prove anyone with that mindset wrong. We've got to make them want to be good, want a better world for themselves, the ones around them and the ones after them.
We need you to teach us better. Teach us what our world is meant to be so we can all strive towards that. That's when we see change. We cannot change others, but we can change ourselves, and if enough of us do that, teach our kids to, and get others to, then we will see a change. The main thing I'm trying to say here is that I've seen enough from kids my age to know we won't open our eyes for ourselves, and we're setting ourselves up to fail. At the rate we're going, if the youth were the only ones on this planet, it would have already imploded. We need our parents and role models to help us learn, whether we want to see and hear it or not. I was terrified to come up here today, and if it was a year ago, never would have had the guts. No matter how important my words were or what difference they'd have made, I would have let fear get the best of me. But over the last 6 months, I've been aching for this chance, knowing how important it was for people to hear, and somebody needed to do it. It's very important to hear what I'm saying now. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't. We want to see change in the world. We have to be showing the kids, the future of our world, we can be that change.
Yes.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, guys. This is our young generation. This is what I've been talking about, what I'm working with. But dude, we have to come together to do this for our kids and our family. If we will not stand united, this is never going to happen.
No.
And I've been fighting for this for the longest times. I got attacked on social media. I got told everything. Whatever you can think of, I got told, I got threats about everything. And I will still not give up. I had a lot of times, I was thinking, you know what, maybe I should just put this to the side. That is what I was thinking all the times. Then I made a couple calls. Good friend of mine, Daryl Johnson, the dad from Terry. My good friend, Jeff Peters and Ben Hoffman from the Hutterite colonies. They always inspire me. Some days I called Ron and asked Ron, is it worth it? There's been days I really did not know how to get forward. But that day when I was working here, this was a swamp. When we had Camp 330, guys at Camp 330, we came together. I got promised, Walter, if you will find something to come together, we will help, we will be there, we will stand. Basically, it was one day. After that, I had to do it myself. I hired people to do it. I've been hours up and hours, 12 hours at work, got here, work another 14, up to 14, 16-hour days here. One day I was so tired on a dozer, pushing. I was tired, guys. When you know when you're tired, I did not know, is this even worth it? And as I was driving, I prayed to God. I said, God, if this is what you want, I will go there. And then I said, God, I'm going to take it one day at a time. And that's what my lovely song is. One day at a time, sweet Jesus. It's all I'm asking for.